Hello, and welcome to Console Room 2021 and our interview with the Paternoster Gang. I'm Matt Kesson, and if you're watching this, you probably know who the Paternoster Gang are. You weren't scrolling along and you thought, oh, Paternoster, I like Paternosters, I'll see what this is all about. But nevertheless, we have two of the three right now. The third will be joining us shortly, but let's have the other two introduce themselves to us right now.
Hello, I'm Dan Starkey, and I play Strax.
Hello, everyone. I'm Catrin Stewart, and I play Jenny Flint.
Thank you so much to both of you for being here. This is very exciting. So the first time that your characters appeared in Doctor Who was, of course, in A Good Man Goes to War, which was 2011, which aired in the UK in June of 2011, and I believe actually filmed in January of 2011. So it's the 10-year anniversary of the beginning of these characters, of the Paternoster Gang. And here we are still talking about them. Why do you think they're... because, of course, more stuff has happened since then. What is the enduring appeal of the Paternoster Gang as far as your own observations are concerned? Why did people glom onto them so quickly and stick with them?
Well, I think, I mean, when I first looked at the script for A Good Man Goes to War, because I didn't know, I think the script came through sort of, the day before the read-through, and I'd played this on Sontarans before, and they'd been kind of, so like, and I'd done little cameos here and there as minor Sontarans. I'm thinking, oh, perhaps it'll just be 1 or 2 lines. So I didn't know what to expect. And then when I read the script, then Strax just leapt off the page because it's a very funny, very nicely written character. And it was just a nice, just within that episode, he's just got a nice little sort of story, which is just kind of, he dies in that first episode as well. So I thought that was it. But it was nice how he came along with a backstory, and then Jenny and Vastra came along with a backstory. We know enough elements to understand that they've met the Doctor before, and then there's some, they come with a hinterland, and so I suppose it's a fun story anyway. But then fans can project back onto onto what's happened beforehand. So it's an invitation, I suppose, to
that's interesting.
To think about these characters a bit more than just other incidental characters, because the Doctor's got a history with them even if we don't know about it. So
I think you don't see it necessarily in Good Man Goes to War, but you see it, the relationship between Jenny and Vastra start there. And I think people really like the relationship between the three of them. They've got really distinct personalities and characteristics and banter, and, everyone's got their own role in the gang. So a bit like Dan said, people are able to sort of use their imagination a bit, and I think people find them quite amusing, but also I was surprised that they wanted not surprised, but I wasn't expecting to come back to Doctor Who after that one episode, but the fans were really supportive and really liked us, so here we are talking about it.
Well, I mean, you look at old magazines and old message boards, and people were calling for a spinoff immediately. I mean, before Snowman even happened. And Dan, you suggested something, as I recall. Because Madame Vastra and Jenny were obviously a duo, but then it was a bunch of different people. But
well, it was kind of like, it was simply that we'd been interviewed for the episode in Doctor Who magazine, like usually happens. It's like someone phoned us up a couple of weeks after the song and said, "Oh, can you just talk it?" And they asked the one question: How would you like to see how would you like to see your character being in episodes in the future? And I think because I was slightly distracted during the interview because I was in the middle of rehearsing a play, I sort of went, I don't know, I'm dead, aren't I? And then a couple of days later, obviously I had the l'esprit d'escalier. I worked out what I should have said, and I sent an email to Tom, who is the editor of Doctor Who magazine, saying, "Oh, thanks very much for the complimentary issue. I just suddenly realised that wouldn't it be fun for Strax to come back as Madame Vastra's butler?" And so I went, oh, that's a really funny with a bowler hat like Oddjob, you know, sort of shaped like you know, sort of like in the James Bond films. And he went, oh, that's a really funny picture. Do you mind if I print this in the magazine? Then I can do a little mock-up of him in a butler suit. I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then clearly that must have sort of, I'm sure Stephen, you know, looks at Doctor Who magazine. And
I had no idea about that.
Yeah, it's the whole thing of just
you've written yourself in it. That's amazing.
Yes. Write a thank you letter, and then also, you know, it's the whole thing of just if you've got ideas, then just mention it. You know, the worst that can happen is it gets ignored. So it's kind of but obviously that might have chimed with how successful. Yeah, because I think it's a whole thing of writing the characters, finding out you will enjoy writing the characters, and then like I think we all really enjoyed playing them as well.
Sure.
And I think that there's a nice synergy there in terms of what the writer intended, what the actor takes and runs with. And then they go, oh, okay, right, now we got something. Ooh, that's more possibility. So yeah, but
No, I'm sorry. Was there improv at all on set? Did you come up with any lines or anything, or
not in the
not how it works?
I was not confident enough to be doing that on the first day of
no, it's
on a massive set.
I
just about got my lines out because I was nervous and it was all quite technical jargon.
Yeah, well, it is very technical, and I think also just bearing in mind that, so I think with the original script with The Good Man Goes to War, it was a lot longer in the writing, as I recall. It was a bit so there were a couple of there were lots more bits, as I recall, just because I was chatting something else about it. The two monks, there was the fat monk and the thin monk, wasn't there? And they had a lot more stuff in the original draft, but I think the first thing to go is kind of like the fun stuff with the incidental characters, because there was so much in there. So I think that had to be pared down. So even if you do come out with a funny improvised line or whatever, unless it's telling the story,
they've got it very planned.
But equally, just from my point of view, because I do improv on stage and that sort of thing, but it's other things I do aside from Doctor Who. But one of the things you need in order to do that you've got to have is to be able to hear properly. And of course, when I'm in a load of latex, it's much more difficult to react and be sparky with people, because it's you're
very quick.
Hearing knocked out. It's like having a pillow on your head. So if you're trying to work out what people are saying in the first place, then it comes, there she is.
Hey, excellent.
Hey. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Neve, you're on mute.
Love.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? How are you doing, Neve?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for your patience. Yeah, I'm doing good.
No problem at all. We've been talking about Doctor Who stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Why don't you introduce us? Our whole audience knows who you are, but why don't for formalities, why don't you introduce yourself?
Of course. Hello, everyone. Well, I'm Neve McIntosh, and I play Madame Vastra in Doctor Who. No, Who.
Doctor something. Nobody
That's
knows.
the Scottish one. I'm working on it.
Very nice. Well, we were talking about it being the 10-year anniversary this year of Good Man Goes to War.
Oh my God.
I know.
Yeah, crazy times.
Just come out of drama school.
Yeah, you're fresh out the packet.
It's my first proper job, TV job.
Well, no, we had some theatre before, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
We would work together.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neve had played my stepmom, and I played her sort of spoilt stepdaughter who didn't like her.
Yeah.
And then we were playing wives or lovers.
Yeah. We were talking about, Neve, about the sort of enduring popularity of the Paternoster Gang in particular, and why there's they were just these sort of guest stars, but now there's been a whole lot of material and people love the Paternoster Gang, and do you have any thoughts as to why that is?
I think it obviously it had that sort of steampunk, funky. We were a bit younger, maybe, and a bit new. Yeah, I think obviously, I think we had so much fun doing it as well. I would like to think part of it translated from that, that we were cheeky to each other and had a bit of fun. But it was nice for me to be like a baddie originally for the first two Silurians, and then to come back to be a Silurian that changed into being a goodie and not wanting to, wipe out the whole human race, I think. But yeah, we just had some great dialogue and fun things to do, running around with swords,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about let's talk about your various. You all had kind of different. You all had kind of different histories with Doctor Who at this point, different levels. You, of course, Neve had played 2 Silurians previously. Dan, I looked into your history playing Doctor Who characters and eventually got tired and wandered off. And and Catrin, that was your first time with it.
Yeah.
So, well, first, Neve and Dan, tell me about differentiating your characters. Tell me about how you'd made, because not only had you been on Doctor Who before, you'd been on Doctor Who looking very, very similar before. So how did you differentiate between your various Silurian and Sontaran characters?
Oh, it's the whole gamut of emotions from A to B. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes got on and off. Yeah, angry and not angry. Yeah, and less angry. But it's I think it's simply you go with what's in the script really. And I think as I said before, the first time looking at the script, it was kind of like the first time they brought the Sontarans back, they were pretty sort of straightforward. They're villains, and it was nice actually. With my very first story, because I got different drafts of it when I auditioned. It was interesting in the different drafts how the 2 Sontarans in that were differentiated. So you had a general who was quite cerebral, and the character I played who just like ran around with a gun and laughed and shot people, which was enormous fun. So yeah, basically, okay, he's psychotic and he enjoys shooting people. Okay, that's the obvious thing. Whereas getting the script through for Good Man Goes to War, there's a whole character there. There's a whole character that he's a Sontaran, but he's rather unhappy about things. So there's a lot to play there. And all you do is, as with every other acting job, you mind the text and you use your imagination, and then you use that, obviously, and you're in a rubber suit, so that does a huge amount of work for you. So it's kind of no matter what I do, I'm scowling. So it's kind of a,
I guess you have to do more with your voice when your face is less on show as well.
Yeah, and sort of the way that you move sometimes, because when I was my first 2 Silurians, I tried to make them sort of different, and they were also slightly a bit more Scottish than Vastra's sort of become as well, because I liked keeping that tune in it, because especially for Alea, she was a bit sort of slightly more sexy, but well, that's right. Anyway, I don't know. I know it's a lots of like head movements and things, but Vastra, because she's sort of been humanized. So she's in all the Victorian corsetry and stuff. That does actually keep you quite still. But, yeah, I think you find, I think the writing was very different for me, for my different ones. So that helps you. Yeah, how you move, and as you're saying, Dan, how you find a voice. Sorry, Catrin.
I'd read that you'd actually gone and like studied reptile movements, especially for the first 2 who were less human.
Yeah. Because Restack, she was very stiff, and sort of everything was at the front of her head, because monitor lizards sort of run like that. They're very head on. There's David Attenborough there's a brilliant series called Life in Cold Blood.
Oh yes.
Brilliant natural history program, of course, by Sir David Attenborough. So I just bought that and watched it to see. Yeah.
Marvelous. Yeah. Dan, did you study potatoes at all? Did you just?
Yes. Well, I went to the source. So I got out my VHS of the Time Warrior that I got when I was for Christmas when I was 11. So I looked at the original Sontarans from the 70s, but also because obviously the design of the Silurians in the modern series is completely different. So indeed, starting from the ground up, but sort of like, but also we had our great the choreographer on set, Elsa Burke, and she was there helping, that there was, because they're a military species, then there had to be a uniformity of movement. So basically it's me and all the supporting artists all learning how to march. I mean, I knew how to march anyway, but it's like, it's kind of but all of us to make sure we're on the same sort of page, moving with a kind of like making sure the physicality matches up. And she was there for all the other creatures as well, like the Cybermen, making sure they all do that. So we had a kind of, and as I said, the costume's so stiff as well. There's this kind of, there's a language to it that puts in your body, because you're so wide, and and most of the time you're trying to get through the door without knocking things over. But you do become this little man who barges into people all the time just by accident. So you have to embrace that, really.
So Catrin, now you of course have a different problem, which is that you were new to Doctor Who as an actor, and that your character didn't have any kind of connections to previous Doctor Who characters. How was that as an experience? How do you come into Doctor Who fresh?
Yeah. Well, I guess when I auditioned for it, it was just that one episode. So I did as much work as I could on the character, but as the others were saying, you sort of take what you can from the script. I did a bit of backstory stuff with Neve, I think, just about, because we knew each other, which was great, just about how we'd met, or like, yeah, a bit of that, which I really enjoy about acting, is creating that sort of backstory. I guess, again, the voice, I mean, my accent in it is not Victorian London. I'm just doing some general Cockney that so I probably could have been a bit more specific with that, but yeah, I just approached it. I was straight out of drama school, so I was, it was like my first sort of big, well, not big, but yeah, big, the first time being on a big set like that. So I think, yeah, I just tried to be as present as possible, and then obviously as the episodes went on, I could have more fun with it because we had more to do and I was getting more relaxed, and the writing was great, so I didn't have to do that much. It was interesting acting with non-humans. That was like a new challenge, like not human looking. That was like a new challenge. And I hadn't watched much Doctor Who before, but I did watch some for research for the audition and for playing the part, but yeah, trying to make it as truthful as possible, even though you're in this world that is kind of a bit mad and not necessarily always realistic. So I realized that my character was the sort of human one, but she was used to live, well, actually no, in that first episode she says I say something like, there's something in the drawing room, Mom.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how familiar Jenny was at that point with this sort of other world that Madame Vastra is involved with. I think you introduced me to the Doctor and everything. So I really liked playing that as the episodes went on, how Jenny sort of, her delight and intrigue in this new world that Madame Vastra introduces her to.
That's fantastic. So you talked about coming up with backstory, kind of on your own. What sort of stuff did you? I mean, that's part of how it works. What sort of stuff did you come up with? What was some of the backstory that you guys brought?
I do remember now. Yeah, I mean,
you saved me from. I was like a little orphan.
Yeah,
I think I kept looking for a job.
Yeah. But then there was another thing as well that you came up with, is that then later on, as we got closer, that you ended up saving me. As well, that it wasn't just that Vastra's not the one who has all the power in that relationship. It's actually Jenny's got.
Yeah. I think there's obviously a lot of love and respect there.
Yeah.
But it has been interesting since the series. Yes, as we've gone on, I think people have created those backstories for us.
There's a lot of fun out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Dan, did you have any backstory for yourself?
Oh gosh, well, I think whatever. I think this whole thing that the Doctor has bested the Sontarans yet again at some point in the past, and I don't know the exact circumstances of it, but I bet it was very, very convoluted and timey-wimey, and that's why Strax is serving out a penance in a way that he's clearly not happy about. So it's like it was clearly bad.
I'll tell you, because of course one of the ongoing shticks with the Paternoster Gang is Strax suggesting the use of some spectacular device of unbelievable destructive power that he presumably has in his bedroom, and
he's got a cupboard beneath the stairs. That's what.
Scalpel mines and nightmare fusion suppositories, and do you know what any of do you come up with what any of those are, just out of curiosity?
Oh gosh, we'll talk about Big Finish, but I was able to fill out his armory a little bit in some of the episodes that we've had since then. But I think just he's a Sontaran, so he's got I remember talking to Stephen Moffat about it, how he's got the emotional intelligence of us, like the kind of pre-adolescent boy who just likes war, the kind of thing. So a lot of there's a lot of stuff being channeled into sort of like weapons and war. That's if he grew up a little bit, might go other places. But the Sontarans aren't like that. So otherwise, just thinks about different types of gun and things you can blow things up with.
Big stick to hit things with.
Yeah.
Let me do a couple questions from the chat. I have one question. Dan, did you like playing Ian the Elf or Strax better?
Well, Ian the elf was marvelous because that was like a reward for 7 years on and off in a rubber suit. But actually, they made a suit out of cloth, which was a nice novelty. That kind of fit. But no, Ian was good fun, and it was great working with Nick Frost. And because he was really very, very generous, very sort of like good fun to be on set. And it was nice seeing going back, because we were in Peter Capaldi's first episode, and going back when he'd done a whole season, and it's clearly he was, you know, relaxed in it, and he was the Doctor, and it was lovely. But it was just amazing suddenly being back on set, and quite a familiar set, you know, big set with Doctor Who, and it's, you know, it's great. Yeah, they filled out the whole environment and stuff. But then crucially being able to see and hear people and react normally to things. I think part of me just went, hang on, this is really straightforward. This is really easy. I can just act normally. I don't have to prepare everything in microcosm because I'm inside a potato. So it was good fun from that point of view. But you know, I think Strax is the character that will sort of like people will remember more than perhaps Ian the annoyed elf. I've played in my time. I have played quite a few elves, though, unsurprisingly. So,
question for everybody from the chat: any new interests or hobbies you tried or started during the lockdown? Right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Catrin disappeared for a moment, and
Am I here?
Fine. Yeah.
I was doing Spanish lessons for most of the year. But I'd already done Spanish in school, but I was just doing weekly classes. So, yeah, it was good. I tried to use my brain a bit. I don't know. I wish I could say I'd taken up like making, I don't know, I wish I had more creative skills all the time. I probably, if I put my mind to it, I could have taught myself knitting or something. A lot of people have done some amazing things.
Yeah. I just found it. I had some time to actually get on with bits of DIY in the house. I mean, I'm still halfway through some of it, but yeah, like putting up shelves and organizing things. That's the most I think I've done.
Good.
Let's get something done, yeah.
I think it's all stuff on apps that I sort of like. So Duolingo, I've been doing Welsh on Duolingo.
Oh yeah,
so which I just did as a little thing, and then I've been doing it for about sort of like 2/3 of the year now. So I think I feel like doing it, and also my Italian I've been trying to keep up as well. So that's kind of like another sort of practice thing. Again, it's just a bit of your brain to keep ticking over as a kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a question for Catrin that kind of brings us back to A Good Man Goes to War. Have you done any stage combat work before or since? And if Jenny were to appear again, would you be adverse to upping her combat to another level, maybe wire work or stunts?
Okay.
I did stage combat in drama school. We had to do it as part of our training. I wasn't great at it. The dagger went through the glass window in my exam. I threw my dagger through it and they had to cancel the exam because there was glass everywhere. It just went and then stuck in and then slowly smashed. So I wouldn't say it's like my forte, but I did really enjoy doing it, especially like Neve is very passionate. You know, Neve, you really got into all the swords, didn't you?
Yeah.
And the training. And then the judo move in Crimson Horror.
Oh yeah.
I had a lot of help with that from the stunts guy who was really great. So that made me look good, better than I am. Wire work. Can't say I'm great at heights, but I'd be willing to try if I had some practice.
It's so much fun though.
It's great fun, wasn't it? I mean,
didn't we do it, Neve, when we dropped in?
Yeah, but we remember we had our stunt doubles because we were like, that does look like fun. Yeah, on the ribbons. They were on the ribbons.
Yeah,
and the weighted dummy, it was just me. They just dropped. Remember that? And everyone's went, "Oh God, that looks painful."
Yeah.
Was that the only time you had stunt doubles, or did you have stunt doubles for other stuff? Because you're sort of action Doctor Who, you know. Doctor Who is often people solving things.
Yeah, a bit more
with cleverness, but you're swords and guns.
Yeah.
Do you have a stunt?
Yeah, I think that was the only time we had stunt doubles.
Yeah, they had a guy with the riding the carriage, riding the landau, who was inside, who was a horseman.
That's right. You need a driver for that.
Yeah, from a distance.
But yeah. No, because it was on the Christmas special, The Snowman. They actually did rig me up so that when Richard E. Grant battered me and then the guys just had a huge crash mat and they just went, and I just went through the air. That was quite fun. Fantastic. I didn't want to lose the sword, so they ended up stuck in someone because I had to have the sword in my hand. And but they had to then catch me at the mat to make sure. But that was quite fun. That was
Well, and you've done sword work. You were into sword work before any of this even happened.
Yeah. I did fencing when I was at school, and I got my instructors and stuff quite high grades for foil when I was at college, and then went into my ex. He was he specialized in Japanese swords, which was great because then they gave me a katana and a wakizashi for Good Man Goes to War.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then Dan, you of course actually there was a stunt where you fly through a window and you actually went ahead and did that.
Yeah, that was fab. It was great. Yeah, because they had two windows, but it was like they could have done it twice, but it was basically the thing. Can you please try and do this in one take, because it's a hell of a lot to reset. But it was great because the stunt double, because I saw the actual sort of chap, sort of Archie, the Scottish chap who I was sort of meant to be fighting, and he was pretty solid. And then I saw his stunt double, who was sort of like had muscles on his muscles, who was even wider. And then so like we did it through a sort of a couple of times, and it was interesting because I clearly just kept on falling in a certain way, but because I'm so padded up as a Stantaren, I can't really feel anything. It's just all it does is it sort of constrains your ability to sort of control your movement sometimes, because you kind of like you're inside this pillow and then you're just going to point yourself and fall over. But it was great, and there was but it looked great, and also in a Good Man in the Crimson Horror, that was it, because there was a bit where Strax climbs up a chimney. Yeah, and I think in the original script, because we had a little chat at the read through, so the way Mark had written it is that Strax comes down on a sort of like a parasailing rope upside down, and then shoots Madame Gillyflower. Right. But just simply, I would have been up for that, but just you can't do that in the suit the way it was. There wouldn't have been anywhere to put a harness simply, and I would have just kind of fallen out of my rubber suit. I think if I tried it, which is a shame because it would have been fun. But, so I was up on a cherry picker instead, just like shooting down. But up for it. But it's just the whole thing of just trying that combination of prosthetics, and so like if you fling yourself too hard, then the mask will just pull your face off, which is not what you want. So.
No, doesn't look good on camera. No. Question from the chat from everyone: what is your favorite episode that you all worked on together, and what do you remember about that experience?
What was the one with the Whisperman?
Oh, the Name of the Doctor.
Yeah, I really liked that.
Yeah, with Richard Grant.
We had lots to do, and it felt like Alex Kingston was there, was she?
Yeah. She was, yes.
I don't know, I just felt like we had quite a lot together, the three of us, and I think again I was just surprised that we were back. Just happy to be there.
And the rotating Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And the whole afternoon was just like,
filming that scene took a while.
Yeah.
The Snowman, I always think's really exciting to be a part of a Christmas special of Doctor Who, because like everyone watches that, and it's
one of the things that so you were in the Snowmen. There's a Christmas episode of the there's 13 audio of the Paternoster Gang, 13 Big Finish audios, and one of them is a Christmas episode. And there are also 2 like official published short stories about the Paternoster Gang that are also Christmas themed. And so I'm wondering what it is about a lizard woman, a Cockney ninja, and a violent potato that is Christmassy.
I wonder if it's Victorian England at Christmas.
That's just when you think about Christmas cards, isn't it? It's always like
Charles Dickens, isn't it?
Tableau. Yeah.
So the Victorian theme, you think, is heavy on it?
It works quite well with snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think about all the Dickens, Christmas. We need to do our own version of A Christmas Carol. Or something.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
That'd be good. Yes.
In space. No.
Oh yeah, you could be in space. Yeah, you could be Ghosts of Christmas Present, Past, and Future for somebody. That would be
Which one? The miners from the planet Scrooge turns up or something. Yeah.
I am not tiny. I have full use of all of my limbs.
Dan, Neve, what are some of your favorite episodes, and what do you remember about them?
Oh gosh, I mean, I did love A Good Man Goes to War. For me was great, because it was like I'm back, and I remember getting phoned about it. They want you back on Doctor Who, and I was like, they killed me twice already. Are they going to bring me back?
How many times?
Yeah, no, not third time lucky. But, so it was really lovely to turn that whole Silurian thing around and have a goodie. And I got to eat Jack the Ripper, who deserved it. So, but I have to say, each one of them special in their own way for me. But yeah, I think Crimson Horror was good because it was kind of like our little story that the Doctor just happened to be in. It was like a story given pretty much entirely to us, and I thought that was really fabulous.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Wasn't it?
And also, I guess being there for Peter Capaldi's first.
Yeah.
So.
That's what I was going to say. That was really exciting. That was just like being there on Peter's first day, and like just how it was amazing. So I remember distinctly. So like his first scene where he comes out the TARDIS, and it's like they're saying, "Oh, this is pretty exciting." And then some Stephen Moffat and Brian, the executive producer, being behind the monitors, and then watch them. And then after that take, so both of them started going, "Yes," so kind of thing. It was just this kind of like, that's hit the spot. So it was a really nice thing to share in, and
yeah. Although it was very stinky that first day because it was real seaweed.
Oh yeah.
Gone down and a bit of a beach and brought it back and put it in under all the hot lights.
Oh,
after an hour or so, you're like,
it's a fantastic set, wasn't it? Actually, that entire inside set,
incredible. I'm not knocking
Studio
it.
One.
It get quite ripe by lunchtime, didn't it? It was like,
yeah.
And because we filmed on location, we started off at 6 o'clock in the morning, filming on location on the other side of Cardiff, and then
The dinosaur.
Yeah, the dinosaur bit. But there was about 6 o'clock in the morning. There was one person on the other side of a chain link fence, and then when we broke for tea at about 7:30 in the morning, there were about 40 people just going.
Loads of
Capaldi. It was extraordinary.
Yeah, they found out.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
So talking of Victorian England, I have a couple questions here about what other times and places would the Paternoster Gang be interesting in? Would you like to see them in? Also, a specific question, how would Jenny react to the modern world?
Oh, yeah.
Right now?
Right now.
She'd be bored, I think, right now. She loves an adventure. She likes to get out and get into solving some crimes.
It's hard to get into a situation where you go out and do judo on robots these days. Yeah.
Get close to people.
Right.
I think she'd find London pretty exciting, to be honest. But I think.
But right now, yeah.
Right now is a bit different. Where would we like to go?
What would be good?
We always get asked this question.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things when you can sort of in sci-fi be anywhere or do anything. You get
especially in Doctor Who, yeah.
It would be good to see them in the more modern world and how they'd react to that.
Yeah. Them trying to cope.
Yeah.
So they'll start to
do it in the 70s where we all have to wear flares and crazy.
Yeah, we dress differently.
Yeah, look at upstairs, downstairs costume drama. They've got it wrong. Look at that butler, he's rubbish. Those sideboards aren't real.
I mean, you're all detectives, so kind of a noir thing, kind of a 1930s sort of. Yeah.
That'd be cool if we're all in sunglasses and like really sexy.
Yeah.
Or perhaps if we went back to the Cretaceous and Vastra's on home turf and then the rest of us are going, it's really sweaty. Really warm and good. Yes.
Oh, yeah, she goes back. Yeah. And all the pets are there. That would be fun, actually. Maybe,
And of course, Good Man Goes to War was space opera, so I'm sure we could do more sort of like things on spaceships, which would be sort of like,
Just anything's possible, which is what's exciting. But I don't know if we'll ever come back. It would be nice.
Not in the tip. But we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, are there any like how do you see you reacting to Jodie's Doctor? I mean, Strax would have a thing where, and this is another chat question. Strax would have a thing where he already doesn't understand about gender, so the whole switch thing wouldn't really,
just pathetic Gallifreyan. There was a cut line in the very first scene from Deep Breath. Well, the last line was after Vastra's "Here we go again," was sort of Strax going, "Why is he turned into a woman?" So that was one. But it's like, and that was like, "Oh, this strange boy in
prescient thing,
anorak. Why is this?"
Right. Yeah, for Peter.
Yeah, so I think you would just be blasé to it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fluid.
So let's see. One question I got was, who among you is most like your character? And let me guess, It's Dan because he loves to do murders. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I am psychotic. Yes.
Completely.
Do you think any of you is most like, does any of your personal relationship and, you know, or professional relationship seep into it, or are any of you particularly like your characters, or are they all pretty different?
I'd say I'm probably the most similar because I'm playing a human, and it's probably a bit like, yeah, easier for me because it's.
Another chat question: are you ever jealous of the other two? Do you want to play a non-human at some point?
I'd love to, but I also am not jealous of their 4 a.m. starts with the makeup, and then then they're home at 9 p.m. with like rashes from the
Oh, glory days.
Yeah.
the 14-hour days.
Yeah, I mean, when they were in the makeup chair, would you, Catrin, would you ever just, you know, send photos of yourself just having a nice time or resting?
Yeah, in the hotel.
Yeah.
In the bar.
Having a nice leisurely
I mean,
break.
I'd have to watch what I said because sometimes I'd be moaning about being in a corset, and then Dan and Neve would be like sweating underneath their prosthetics. So I was very lucky. But yeah, I'd love the opportunity to play someone, you know, well, not someone, a different kind of creature.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let's see. Who's a basic Doctor Who question? Who's each of yours favorite Doctor?
Ooh.
I grew up watching Tom Baker, so for me, he was my first Doctor. So I think Tom Baker. But then again, working with Matt, who's also fabulous to work with, and actually to work with a Doctor, to be on set, to be in the TARDIS console room with the Doctor. That was that
exciting.
peaked me right out. I was back to a kid again. It was brilliant, but they're all good in their own way. But yeah, Tom Baker / Matt for me.
Sure. Dan?
I think I've worked with virtually all of them now, on either on screen or Big Finish. So still a few I haven't done yet, but it's like so that's really exciting. And there's something that just like Neve said, you know, because when I was growing up, I remember the very, very end of Tom Baker. And then Peter Davison was my first proper Doctor, and so the first Big Finish that I did, I had the cans on like this, and then obviously Peter Davison looks a little bit different, sort of now, so than he did in 1982.
Well,
but,
sure.
But suddenly put the cans on it, and it's suddenly going, oh, hang on, I'm on an episode of Doctor Who with Peter Davison, like I'm 5 years old. And it's kind of so that was this amazing kind of like gleeful reaction that you sort of get. It's Pavlovian almost, that you hear the sound, you know, the theme tune and stuff. But it's and the first time, you know, doing a Big Finish with Tom Baker again, you know, it's like just the voice comes across through with the earphones so richly. It's something wonderful about it. But yeah, it's they all have wonderful things to commend them. But I've always had a great time. So yes, that's my diplomatic answer.
And then Catrin, do you have a favorite?
Well, I just have to go with. I didn't grow up watching it, so I just have to go with Matt, just because
He's yours.
To do with him, and I think he's so exciting to watch and work with, and fun, and like spontaneous, and he's a lovely guy. So yeah, I'd say Matt.
Very good.
He's my Doctor. Yeah.
Combining two more chat questions. Is there anything else that do you have any dream role? Well, I'll expand this. Do you have any dream roles in the Doctor Who universe? It's part one of the question. Do you have any dream roles out of the Doctor Who universe? What would you like to play just generally? And then also, would you like to play the Doctor? Is another question. Dan would like to play the Doctor, is what I'm.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I would definitely.
Yeah.
I'd have a go. It'd be so much fun.
He'd be good at it. Yeah.
You think? I don't know. I'd love a chat. It'd be good fun. He'd be good as well.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
I'll be down the Trout and Sylvester McCoy end of the spectrum, I think. Yeah. Or the meddling monk, someone with a TARDIS who's a bit of a rubbish Time Lord. Yeah.
It'd be fun. Jenny and I swap bodies. What about that?
Yeah.
You get to play me, and I get.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Any of the three of you could swap bodies. I would love to see Catrin or Neve being Strax.
Yeah, potato. I
my
could try
God.
that.
What is this cat suit?
Yeah. What are these? Yeah.
Any other dream roles, either Who or otherwise?
Oh gosh.
Oh.
No.
I'd love to play. It's a theatre role. I just love Ibsen plays, but Nora in A Doll's House. I played it in drama school, and I always think I'd love to play it now when I'm the right age for it.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'll take anything at the moment.
I think all of us are sort of like, yeah, just let us work, please.
A roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got any job. Gosh, I can't, anything specifically, I don't know. I would love to do something like a female James Bond. That would be good.
Oh,
Especially if I went back to a slightly Sean Connery sort of styley. But and in theatre, like Catrin, there's a couple of, like Lady Macbeth or something like that.
Have you not played that?
Still not. Nope.
wow.
So you heard it here.
What happened?
I wouldn't mind doing a bit of Chekhov. That would be quite nice.
Yeah.
Great.
A bit of Chekhov, bit of sort of, some funny but heartbreaking as well. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Uncle Vanya.
I know, yeah, I'll do a bit of Vanya or Richard III. That'd be quite fun because he's funny.
I'd love to do some more period dramas, and I ride in horses basically, and just I don't necessarily watch them that much. I just think it'd be so fun to do. But then I'd also love to do
having nice costumes.
Yeah, nice costumes.
Yeah, there is something nice about that, because that was one of the things I was going back to that, because Catrin and I were talking last time. There's a good riding stables near me, but because of lockdowns, every time I think I'm going to go and get my refresher, start riding again, it's like they close it and bugger. So still on my list.
Yeah, we went riding when we were filming the Christmas special, didn't we, in Wales?
Yeah, we got up the
day off.
Yeah.
So Neve and Catrin, this is for the two of you. Now, of course, the two of you have become these big LGBTQ icons. And I assume that, I hope that's been almost entirely positive. I hope that's been entirely positive. Have you gotten any weirdness as a result of that?
Apart from the kiss.
Oh yeah.
In the kiss, what's episode?
Deep breath.
There was like some complaints to Ofcom, which is like the
media regulator in the UK.
Yeah, and but actually it gave us lots of publicity. Like I remember opening the Evening Standard, which is like the main paper in London. I opened it on the tube, on the subway, and there was me and you in there, Neve, and they'd had like a certain amount of complaints, and they'd banned it in a few countries.
Yeah, they had to put it out in a few countries.
Yeah, but actually what's ironic is that it was mouth to mouth, not even a kiss. So
right, yeah, you had a whole setup where it wasn't even romantic.
I mean, obviously the intimation is there because we are lovers, or we're married by then, but
no, it's been really positive and really like lovely hearing people's experience and how it's affected them or helped them or made them feel more accepting, and watching their favorite show, and really positive.
Completely.
Well, and you sold it so beautifully. I mean, I was doing some reading about this, and it was pointed out that it's never made explicit in Good Man Goes to War, and I'm like, are you kidding? And I guess technically it wasn't, but I mean, you could tell what the relationship was from space with the way you performed it. So that was pardon me a moment. So that was amazing.
Yeah, that's what's good about the writing, is it was never made a big deal of it. It was just, this is what our normality is, so deal with it,
Well, right.
The Christmas one, it's like, good evening, here's my wife. Simple, just nice and simple.
It's not a big deal. We don't make a big deal out of it.
Right, and it's like the third most noteworthy thing about both of your characters, which is amazing. So if that, that's fantastic.
The odd thing is that, if it's even odd, is that it's an interspecies relationship.
Yeah, nobody got on about is it bestiality? No, nobody seemed to have a problem with that. No.
Yeah.
So, of course, as part of the popularity of these characters, there were, immediate calls for spin-offs that just continued forever. And, people would, I'm led to understand, people would approach the three of you demanding spin-offs because you have the power to create spin-offs, the three of you, because you're in charge of the BBC. And of course, there never was one. But 2 years ago, there was of a sort. There was the Big Finish series. There was one for a box of CDs called the 8th of March that was about women in Doctor Who, and then there have been 4 3-episode releases of Paternoster Gang. adventures on audio. So the Paternoster, you have your own theme song now. The Paternoster Gang does have a spin-off of a sort.
Yeah.
So I mean, first of all, most basic question, you know, how was doing that different from doing the show? You know, how's that kind of recording different? How was it to come back after a couple of years? And did you put on your makeup, you know, to get into character? Of course you did. So yeah, tell me about Big Finish. Tell me about how that started.
Let's go first.
Not me.
Dan should go first because he's written for it as well.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
tell us about writing for it. Absolutely.
Well, I think I think that Big Finish would have loved to have done it for a very long time. And I think, but always, I think just getting hold of the rights with lots of these things. I think they still, you know, they still had the idea that we might come back, or they might use us for something else. So I think they hold on because, you know, they know that people love the Paternosters. But then eventually they got the rights to do it. And then Neve and I went for I think Catrin, you weren't available for whatever reason, but Neve and I went for a little development meeting at I think after you suggested it, Neve. At Big Finish Towers. Yeah. And we just sort of like, we just pitched in with some like ideas about sort of like you know, if we did do a series, what would you like to see in it? And then we sort of just thought, oh, because obviously Neve and I, you know, we'd all sort of like had thoughts, you know, sort of like being glued into the chair about you know, what we'd like to see in our potential spin-off series. And I think so, like, you know, I think Ripper Street with swords was like the first, so something a lot more violent, I think, initially. Just possibly that was the frustration with wearing prosthetics all the time, just bleeding through to it. But we had a nice old chat with sort of with David Richardson, the producer, and Matt Fitton, our script editor.
Yeah.
And just pitching ideas about sort of, you know, sort of story arcs and, you know, what you see the characters doing next. So it was really lovely as an actor having that degree of input, because oftentimes you just get given a script and it's probably, you know, it's good, but you don't have that level of sort of creative control and stuff. But sort of we both had a chance to pitch in with those things. And so it's kind of like we're in that kind of world of Victoriana, sort of late Victorian sort of steampunk and stuff. So there's lots of things about the 1890s that we're feeding in a kind of science fiction way. So there's a start of technologies, like there's the first episode which is about sort of electric cars, which actually was a thing in the 1890s, but the combustion engine won over. So we could have had, you know, sort of like electric cars 100 years beforehand. So the first one, it's a science fiction script about that. So we were able to sort of, and with the one that I wrote, I was thinking about, you know, sort of, do we just going into, you know, the eve of the First World War? We're talking about international diplomacy and sort of like, you know, lots of, and also, you know, high Victoriana, people having massive 18-course meals. And how could you possibly eat that amount? I thought that's quite a fun thing to explore, and how it works as a house. How does Paternoster Row work as a house with like a butler and a maid and that sort of thing? So it's basically going, oh, if that's true, what else is true? And then just letting your imagination go. And so, yeah.
Well, what were some of your other ideas? I mean, what were your ideas? If they were tapping you for ideas, what were some of your ideas? I'm sure everyone wants to hear.
Well, I'm sure we're not finished yet, so I can't. But no, I pitched about sort of like 5 or 6 story ideas, and that was the one that Matt picked on for the first sort of like for the first arc.
The electric car.
You know, yeah.
Or no, the one you wrote.
The one I wrote, yes, called Dining with Death. But I've got other ideas as well. So I think we had the basic idea of sort of exploring where the characters have come from, and then sort of you know, the Sontarans coming to sort of claim Strax, and then sort of like some of Vastra's prehistoric stuff bubbling up, and then some Jenny's past coming. So if we do get the chance to do some more, which I hope we will, I'm not sure whether it's been completely confirmed, but then perhaps we'll see what directions we can go in different ways. So yeah.
It's also having the ideas as well to keep a longer story arc that, you know, all our adventures fit inside as well, which is nice. That just something that links up our personal stories as well as all the mysteries or what we've got to come up against. So yeah.
So has there been kind of an arc of over the okay, that's fantastic.
A gentle arc, but it's there.
Yeah, but it's there. It's just nice and subtle, so it just keeps us sort of linked together.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Here's a weird question. The 4 releases are called Heritage 1, Heritage 2, Heritage 3, and Heritage 4. What does that mean? Why are they called heritage? Were these handed down from our forefathers? I feel like they weren't. Why are they called heritage? What is it? What is that?
Well, the loose arc which the stories fall within, it's basically each of the characters, each of the main characters, are dealing with things from their respective pasts. So, Strax, so yeah, and there's things bubbling away up from either prehistory or from like the Sontaran past or whatever that they're dealing with over the course of that. So it's kind of like, so heritage is as good a catch-all term as any. For, I won't say, because if people haven't listened to any of it at all, they can find this out for themselves. But it's whereas the 8th of March, the standalone episode that we did of that it's quite different in flavour.
It is, yeah.
And that's telling quite a different story. So, but you can tell that these are within a kind of like a unity of things. And so, yeah.
Well, that is a fascinating answer to my joke question. Next question is, do you have a favorite episode of the Big Finish? Which one do you like best?
Oh, we've done. I just can't believe how many we've done. It's amazing, and I can't remember. I mean, when Jenny's family was in an episode that.
Lisa McMullen's episode. That's very good.
Oh God, I can't remember them all.
No, it's hard, isn't it? I should.
I was just so chuffed hearing everyone reading out my words and making them better.
Well, yours was a great fun one, because I think as well we got the banter so right, because we've worked together so much. I mean, I think we finished 2 hours early that day that we worked that one. We just bam, 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 and had so much fun and a giggle. And it's lovely that we get, there's some different, working with some different people, and you're just all in a room having a laugh.
Yeah. Oh, lovely Christopher Benjamin being there for Mr. Jago.
Yes, we have one Mr. Jago turns.
Yeah, they get fantastic actors in.
Yeah.
And so other Sontaran that you had the Sontaran.
Oh, Chris Ryan,
Ryan, that's it.
Yes.
The other Christopher, yeah.
Oh, and there was the Karnaki episode as well, because I've done Karnaki for Big Finish as well. And we had the lady, what's her, Janet, who was in The Singing Detective and Dennis Potter, as well as Cursor Fenric. Janet Delby?
Oh,
who was the housekeeper in that one. Do you remember that? The castle, the Scottish castle one?
Is she the lady, lovely Janet, that she played, I don't want to give any spoilers away though.
Yeah. No, she's the housekeeper, isn't she? She's the housekeeper in the castle.
I'm thinking of it might ruin something. So
But she was in like various Dennis Potter plays when I was growing up. So I was like, who's the evil schoolmistress in Dennis Potter? You shall burn in eternal hell.
I'm sure that's her. Yeah. Well, she plays a brilliant character when she comes. It's almost like a split. She's sort of too different, isn't she?
Yeah, we do.
And you've all done a bunch
Big
of
Finish does get very good actors in it. It's really amazing when you see the breadth of talent they get in.
Yeah, it's so impressive when they just come in and do one scene or a few scenes, and they nail this character that on the page you're like, how's anyone going to do that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh no, it's just a nice thing. We're not spending hours getting ready, and makeup on and everything. You turn up, you've got your script marked up already, any little ideas, and you just stand in front of a mic and you just, you don't even need to really learn the lines. You just prep it and you can just have a bit of fun.
Well, and plus you recorded some of them during quarantine, correct?
Yeah.
In this very setup here, as you can see, my home studio.
Dan looked very professional. I was under a duvet with some light holding up a lit. I mean, I just had my own DIY recording studio. They sent me a mic, which was great, but I had to do a lot of pickups after the first episode because there was a lot of sound issues, but I learned to do it better the next time. But you do realize how much you need technical support to help us sound good.
Actors suddenly having to multitask in lots of different ways. I was saying about hobbies in lockdown, it's becoming a recording engineer or not. Yeah.
And you've both done a bunch of other Big Finish stuff besides this as well. You've done voices for a number of different productions.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorites there outside of Paternoster?
I have to say I got to do one of the War Doctor episodes, so I got to work with John Hurt and everyone else I love that I've worked with, but he was a dude. I mean, it's John Hurt, Sir John Hurt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So I loved that. Tom Baker's on my list. I need to tick him off. But yeah, Dan, you're lucky.
Yeah, and I wrote for Tom Baker as well. I was so chuffed. It was so great. Awesome. Yeah, and also again, it was a case in point because I wrote my funny little script. It's like a weird sort of Faulty Towers, Rising Damp, sort of like in Doctor Who type script, and it was one of the last things. Keith Barron was in it, as well. So I wasn't thinking they would get to like any actor, an actor to do it. We're going, Keith, it was one of the last things he did before he popped his clogs. And it was a whole thing going, wow, I couldn't have imagined. It's one thing when you hear your sort of dialogue, and I've got quite a strong voice in my head as to how I want it to hear, and then hearing, oh yeah, you've been doing this for sort of like about 50 years. You're really quite good. But so it was, yeah, that was quite a special time here, and hearing and seeing going in first thing and going, and Tom Baker going, oh Jen, do you mind if I change this line to make it a bit more? Yes, Tom. Yes, of course. And it's a whole thing of Doctor Who's reading out my story. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Catrin, do you have another favorite Big Finish thing that you've done?
We did Torchwood together, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm so bad at remembering names of things. I've done a few, but I think, yeah, we did a Torchwood one.
Yeah, we did something else together. Oh no, we did something for Radio Wales, didn't we? We did Home. We did
Yeah.
that sitcom for Radio Wales.
I've done little parts in Big Finish ones, but they were quite a long time ago, so I can't remember. But yeah, I just love doing audio and radio stuff. I really hope we can do more Big Finish.
So you don't know if you're going to be. There's no plans to do more, but certainly interest.
I think I'm sure it's just, you know, I think they've the schedule's been slightly put out of whack by the whole sort of thing, so we haven't heard.
But they're very
about it.
popular, so
Yeah.
I think they're
Yeah,
really
I'd be
keen to
surprised
do
if they
more.
weren't.
Yeah, that's
Might be in our homes.
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they can still be made in a way that other stuff can't be made. So that's not.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
positive how everyone's adapted, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Another thing that's terrific about the Big Finish Paternoster Gang stuff is relating in a sideways sort of way about the two of you being lesbian icons. Is there's a lot of great social stuff in the Paternoster Gang audio. You know, I mean, Strax leads a proletariat revolution among the workers at one point, and Jenny critiques colonialism, and there's all kinds of, you know, critiques of capitalism, feminist stuff. There's a lot of that material in there. I felt like almost more. I mean, Doctor Who itself is, I would say, progressive, but I felt Paternoster Gang was even the more so. And do you have any? I mean, are you involved in that? Is that part of your ideas, or how's that all working out?
I wish I could say it was. I just turn up and read. They get great writers, and there was a series all about the women, wasn't there?
The 8th of March one.
For International Women's Day.
Yeah.
That was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think it, you know, comes out of, you know, when Neve and I had our initial little meeting, we were just talking about, you know, these are current. It comes from all the writers and their particular concerns as well. But I think, you know, let's do something which does concede that the world was changing in that kind of time, and, you know, and obviously we were writing about it in the 21st century, and we're writing science fiction, so why not make the most of that as a
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, that's wonderful. It's one of the great things.
Yeah.
Well, we've got about 2 minutes left before everything ends, whether we like it or not. Do you have any closing remarks about your experience with Doctor Who and with the Paternoster Gang in particular?
well, it's been such an amazing thing, because when we all first came together to do this, we had no idea where it was going to go. It was just something, as we were saying right at the start, that the fans sort of just went, oh, these guys are great, and that made us come back, you know. So it's thank you everyone for enjoying our work so much. It's great fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
it's a
in
gift that keeps
America,
on
you
giving.
know, like the fact that people are watching us in America or wanting to hear about us is
All over the world now. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's fun, and I think we so the great scripts that we enjoy doing, and we enjoy each other's company, and hopefully, you know, it's an invitation to a party. Everyone may it long continue.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you've brought a lot of happiness to a lot of people, you know. I mean, I'll say myself, I got into Doctor Who fairly late in life, and one of the first episodes I ever saw was A Good Man Goes to War, and I didn't know that you were all new characters. I'm like, oh, I need to find out more about these people. They're so great. And but no, there wasn't any. But now, of course, there is, and that's obviously a testament to the work you've done, and to the work everybody has done. And and especially, you know, I mean, things are a little rough right now, but Doctor Who has always been about, you know, intellect and romance over brute force and cynicism, as they say. And so it's a great thing to be a part of.
Something to be said for brute force as well, though.
Yeah, yeah, apart from Strax, brute force. Go on.
Lovely cat.
Brute force with
Oh,
the chinny on top. What was that, Ruby?
hello.
We Elvis.
Oh, it's Elvis. Oh, hello.
It's getting it's
Very
dinner time. It's dinner
Ah.
time. Hey,
Waiting.
in the building. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's got dark here during our chat. As you
Yeah.
see.
Kevin,
Had a
yeah,
sorted lamp out so you could see my face.
it's wintertime. What have you guys what are your plans for the rest of the winter? You guys are on a pretty heavy lockdown.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Just much more of the same. Trying to stay sane and
Trying to
upbeat.
get out walking every day. That's
Get
the
wrapped
only
up
thing
in
to
one.
do. The
Yeah.
same walks.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
watching lots of telly and stuff.
Watching, yeah.
The West Wing. I'm not sure it's the right
Oh.
time to be watching it, but
So good.
Yeah. Neve, on Neve's suggestion, I rewatched the entirety of Buffy. So
Yeah.
that was good. Enjoyed that.
oh wow, yeah, that's a old school.
It's
Oh, yeah.
really good. Yeah. Still really good.
Yeah.
Do you ever go back and watch your old Who episodes?
Do you know what? If I'm flicking channels and then one comes up, then yeah, I'll sit and I'll watch it. But it's rare.
Slightly self-congratulatory, isn't it? But it's good.
Yeah, I know. You know, yeah. Oh, I know you're going to watch me, but yeah.
Makes it feel a bit better when we're just sat at home.
Me?
Yeah.
Makes you feel a bit better when you sat at home. If you
Yeah.
oh, I
Well, do you know what as well?
Working.
With Big Finish as well. I've listened back to some of our stuff, and then it's hearing the little interviews at the end as well. And thinking, that was a really fun day. You know, we were all sitting and stuff like, you know, having biscuits in the green room and having a chat. And it's all going, especially in this time where we're all sort of like, we're all atomized. It's like going, oh yeah, I remember sort of just.
I
tugging into-
know. We could
Yeah.
sit next to people.
I know.
Who'd have thought it? Yes.
I know.
Human
Right.
company.
Well, everybody, if you're currently watching this, please like this video and subscribe to our page. Console Room is happening virtually January 15th to January 17th. There are more events later today. Find out all the things that are happening by visiting our webpage, www.console-room.com. And thank you so much for being here and talking to us, and thank you to everybody who watched.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you,
Cheers,
man.
Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe.
Stay safe.
Bye bye. Are we still? Is that it?